To an incident in Los Angeles over the weekend, a banner hanging over the 405 freeway reading, "Kanye is right about the Jews," and then a second banner stating, "Honk if you know." This comes after rapper Kanye West came under fire for a series of anti-Semitic statements and a general rise in anti-Semitic attacks across the country. For more on this, I want to bring in Jeffrey Abrams, regional director there at the Anti-Defamation League in Los Angeles. So, Jeffrey, your reaction to this incident, and do we know anything about this hate group that hung these banners?
Thank you, Kara. It's good to join you. What we saw in LA over the weekend on the 405 freeway, one of the most trafficked freeways in our nation, was yet another example of the vile anti-Semitic rhetoric which is spreading throughout the Southern California region and our country. This group that hung these offensive banners is well known to ADL and to law enforcement. We've seen their antics in the past, their propaganda, which takes the form of both these banners and at times flyers that are dropped within neighborhoods spewing anti-Semitism. But what makes this so dangerous and so different is how Kanye West and his anti-Semitic rhetoric is now being leveraged by these hate groups.
So, I mean, according to the ADL, it looks like the latest numbers, right, are at least 330 cases of anti-Jewish vandalism, harassment, and assault that has been recorded in just this past year alone. So what's going on?
Well, we do an annual audit of anti-Semitic incidents, and our last full data set was for 2021, which was a historic year, the highest in our 40-year-plus history of this survey. And what we saw was categorically across the nation a 34% rise, here in the Southland a 28% rise. And that included not only incidents of vandalism and harassment, but actual assaults. Last year in Southern California, we saw 14 Jewish people assaulted simply for being Jewish. And what happened last year has continued unabated this year. We're seeing a dramatic rise here in Los Angeles, and it seems like almost every week we're dealing with these kinds of overt displays of anti-Semitism, whether it's these banners or flyers, or in a parking garage at the Grove, which is a large shopping center here in Los Angeles. Hundreds of flyers were distributed. So more and more, we're seeing this rise of anti-Semitism, and it is fueled by the kind of rhetoric from someone like Kanye West, who has millions of fans and followers, who has business relationships with some of the most prominent companies in the world. And so when Kanye West spews his hatred, declares war on the Jews, DEFCON 3 against the Jews, we're seeing it. It has real life consequences. And we're seeing it here in Los Angeles.
Have you even attempted to sit down with Kanye West, try and, I don't know, take him on and get to the reason behind all this, even try and reason with him?
Well, if you take a look at the examples he's citing, it's based on Farrakhan, it's based on the ideology of the Black Hebrews. These are unrepentant anti-Semites. And so while in the past, when there have been celebrities who might have misspoken, there's no question that Kanye Yee is doubling down. It's not as if this was one isolated incident on social media. He's done it repeatedly. He rebroadcast his hatred on broadcast and interviews with people like Tucker Carlson. So sometimes, and we certainly believe in creating a world where people can get along and speak, but there are also times, like now, when someone seems so unrepentant and keeps doubling down, that really the message is we're urging people to use their voice. We're using companies to use their voice to speak loud and clearly that this is just not acceptable.
Well, and the conversation has been had about him dealing with mental illness and his former wife, Kim Kardashian, coming forward, saying that he needs to, seek help. That has been out there. That's well documented. So we are dealing with someone who clearly has some issues going on. And there have been some big companies that have cut ties with him, Vogue being one of them. But then there's Adidas, which remains to be a notable holdout. Why do you think that Adidas is refusing right now to end its partnership with him?
It's truly inconceivable. This is an international company. We've ridden to their U.S. headquarters. We've asked them to reconsider their partnership with someone who spews this kind of hatred, and yet they failed to do so. It's just inconceivable. Does Adidas really want to become the unofficial clothier, the unofficial uniform of anti-Semites and white supremacists? They have an opportunity to do something, to do what's right. And so we're urging everyone, visit our website, adl.org, and we've initiated a campaign, Run Away from Hate. Add your voice to simply saying, this is not okay. And it's not only Adidas. Gap has also continued its relationship and has announced that they're releasing a new line on October 27th, which is the anniversary of the tragedy in Pittsburgh, which saw more Jewish lives taken than ever before in this country's history. So companies like Adidas and Gap can do so much more. Then you see other companies, both brands as well as media companies. Just today, company MRC is announcing they have chosen not to distribute a documentary about Kanye West. They're taking a stand, and we urge others to take a stand as well.
We'll continue the conversation for sure, Jeffrey. Jeffrey Abrams from the Anti-Defamation League there in Los Angeles. Really appreciate your time. It's a tough conversation to have, but it needs to be done. Thanks, Jeffrey.
Thank you, Karen. We appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.